have like a Wi-Fi signal booster in them. Do they do that yet, or is that like, only like Lamborghinis and Maseratis? Okay, so we're still on the Emmitsburg Road. We just passed South Cavalry Field, well, the preserved part of it, and there's the Gettysburg Battlefield Resort on the right there. The Edgewood Bowling Alley on our right here, and Ridge Road, which I would guess if Hood was going to go around the right, that's where he would have gone. Around the right. But he didn't, because Longstreet argued it all morning. The commanding general won't allow it. So there you go. We're back. Yeah, sorry for the freeze there. All right, here's the South End guide station. Guide station. They don't have guides in it anymore. They should do that. I don't know why they don't. But probably because nobody wants to sit there. But there's a bathroom there. You can go to the bathroom. After you have too much gabagool the night before, you can go expel it. And yeah, G.P. Foster, that Mad TV thing on the Sopranos was quite hilarious. Good morning again to you, Katie Wolf. Wait, did you end the stream just so you could... No, Ty. I did change the spelling, but no, I lost connection, and then when we came back, I was like, can anybody hear me? Can anybody hear me? And then I saw people dropping off by like 5 every second, and that usually is a sign that it is frozen wrong and people bail out. So... Andy says, Matt, last weekend fell in the wool uniform, but I did get to pull the boom string on the cannon, so that made up for the misery. Well, there you go. Good for you. Good for you. Good for you. I am back. Thank you. Emmitsburg, right? Barbara says, I don't see any of my channels playing Gettysburg or 1776 in the next few days. Pitiful. Oh, like on TV. Yeah, that's why you got to do streaming services. Get rid of cable. Because you can watch whatever you want, whenever you want. Don't wait for other people to decide for you what's going to be played. Stream. And you save money. You don't have to get everything. Get some basics. Netflix isn't good anymore, but you could get that. Amazon Prime, you can find just about anything there. HBO Max, those are the two mainstays for me. And then YouTube, so I don't have to watch commercials. I pay for that because I can't stand the commercials. Garrix says, good morning all, watching from the Hellman station where I am not on the ambulance. Well, congratulations on not being on the ambulance. So here they say it's around the Kodori farm where they opened up the fence and went out to the Seminary Ridge area, or the McPherson's Ridge area, across the fields, cross lots, and that's where we'll head today. We'll go out there and we'll do a nice slow drive through the Day 1 battlefield. Monica says, Andy, I was just there and enjoyed the display. Great job. Where were you, Andy? Ghost of Sickles Lake says, love connection or lost connection. Andy says, is anyone there going to see the Annabelle doll that's coming to town for... I'm staying far, far away from that thing. Far, far away. Even though there's no such thing as ghosts, I do believe there's such a thing as possessed dolls. Bill says, is there going to be a limit on the Antietam tour tickets? Right now we've set the limit at 50 and we're almost there. If there's still a clamor for it, a lot of people go, we'll see. You know, I'll maybe when it's a week out, we'll get a ticket. Sales stop on August 31st because we got to get numbers to the food guy. But we were talking about that the other day, that we might hit 50 before August 31st, and what do we do about that? So we're thinking of a couple different options. We can just raise the limit. That would be the simplest one. Or we can, or a couple of other things. I forget what they were. Oh, actually, I should have gone. Damn it. I should have made a left. Should have made a left. On Washington Street. Buford's cavalry went up Washington Street. And I should have done that. I should have. I'm gonna. Ty Webb says, Ghost. Just gonna scooch over here. Thank you, Maryland driver. Ghost, for some reason, I'm picturing Matt playing Captain Stupid in the Love Boat. After you said Love Connection, soon he'll be making another run. Jeez, what a convoluted dream that is. Love, exciting and new. All right, GP Foster says, audio spell has a mind of its own. Clearly, because you meant to say autocorrect, and it turned into audio spell. I don't think it has anything to do how much you've typed it yourself correctly. Anyway, oh, yeah. Yeah, I thought it did, because there were some words that, you know, like, I remember there was one word that my friend and I had made up for something, and when we would text it, it would try to correct it to something else. And then I would, you know, choose my spelling when it gives you the options of words. I would choose my spelling, and maybe like 3 or 4 times I'd have to do that. And then I noticed that it would just type it as I, you know, it would leave it alone. It wouldn't try to correct it. But with all the things that are going on your phone, right? It's all like YouTube is part of Google Maps, Google Earth. It's all tied in. So you would think, like, I guess I should have said Maryland, and then it would know to change it. But I just said Emmitsburg to Gettysburg, so maybe that's what it is. Who knows, ladies and gentlemen? Who knows? Who knows? So we'll go up Middle Street. I'm not sure if they went up Middle or Chambersburg Street, but at this point, who cares? The way the Park Service roads are, we have to go this way if we're going to see the first day's battlefield. So we're going to divert from Buford here a little bit. Andy said, yes, Ghost, there are... Oh, by the way, before I forget, just as I lost connection on the previous live, I saw there were people saying nice things about last night's upload, the town hall. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. I unfortunately don't get to read them out loud, so I can know specifically what you said because they're gone. But thank you anyway. I did see them, so thanks for that. It says, yes, Ghost, there are tickets apparently to go ghost hunting with a doll at night. Beats me why anyone would do that. Yeah, because people, you know, they like to tempt fate, I guess. Andy says, the PA monument, we were combined with another artillery crew. Oh, I didn't realize that you were here. You should have told me. I would have come by. I drove by there on one of my breaks, and I thought maybe my friend Angelista might be there, and I said I should stop, but I got to get back to work. But I had to get out of the house. Not the house, the office. So I didn't. Porter Alexander says, hey, Matt, just saw you on the LBG test segment on the news. I didn't realize how hard the test was. Hope you can pass next time. Thank you. So of all the times I wish I wasn't on TV. That's it. Because the nature of my interview with the guy was completely different than the 2 sentences they took from me. I forget what the hell I said because it made no freaking sense out of context, but I got to take the test to know what I don't know or something like that. We were talking about how they don't prepare you. They just say read everything, and there's no class, there's no anything. And so I was saying, instead of beating myself up trying to study and go insane like a lot of people, I decided to just see what I learned through osmosis, take the test for the first time just to see what it's like, because they're so secretive about it. And so I got to take the test to see what I don't know, or whatever the hell it was I said. That's what I was saying. And then at the end, it's funny because, and this isn't something they did, but like I seemed disappointed that I knew I didn't pass, but like I wasn't. I was just kind of stunned at how much stuff not related to the Battle of Gettysburg there was on the test. And like things that I just know because I've been on hundreds of tours and I've never heard anybody ask a question about these things, nor have I heard a guide volunteer it. I mean, very rarely, only when it's pertinent. But you can do that without having to know it on the test. Anyway, my point is that I was just kind of stunned like everybody else was. Even the grade 6 questions, I remember coming out and seeing him during lunch, and I was like, how do you think you did? And he just like, now, which of course is silly that he thought that he didn't do well, but still, it was a jarring experience. It was a trivia test. It wasn't a I don't know. So yeah, and then the best part of it though was the walk of shame at the end. If I knew what the hell they were doing when they were shooting, I would have walked differently or something. Also, I got to get on a treadmill. But I'm not sure I'll take it the next time. I might do it just for fun, like out of curiosity to see. To be honest with you, I might do it next time just so that when everybody fails that one, I can comment on what it's like when it comes up on the show. You know what I mean? Like, instead of relying on the word of somebody else, I'll just know firsthand, and I might just take it for that reason, because I don't think I'll ever pass that as long as there are these trivia tests designed to trip you up, or to weed people out, I should say. I don't think I'll ever pass it, because my brain doesn't work that way. I'm not a Trivial Pursuit guy. So if that's the way they're going to gauge whether somebody's good with the public, good luck. And but I'll probably keep taking it for the fun of it. I'm not really sure. I make a comfortable living telling the story of the Battle of Gettysburg without having to go through the BS of a guide license, without having to put up with government nonsense, the politics of it. And I've been around guides enough to know that I don't have the mind for it. These guys think differently than I do. These ladies and gentlemen think differently than I do. It's a different mechanics going on in the brain than what I have. I'm more of what hasn't been created yet and try to create it guy, whereas they're a little more analytical. And, I'm not sure what the word is, but so we're going to go through, there's the McPherson barn on our left. Now we're going to go that way, follow the state trooper. I thought I brought a can of water with me, and I can't find it, and I am disappointed. All right, here we go. And we are heading down Stone Avenue, which is going to turn into Meredith as we get in the woods. I guess they call it Stone Meredith. I don't know. I always thought it was Stone here along Stone's position, and then Meredith once you get in the woods. But who knows? Who knows? Somebody knows, but not I. Matthew Casey, hello. How are you? Happy 162nd to you. Lee, hello. Matthew says, grab yourself a couple little ground top, Matt. Thank you, Matt. I will. Sometime in the near future, I want to come down for flapjacks and being there during the anniversary. It is the anniversary in the last couple of years. Let me turn this way so you can see the monuments. It's the Iron Brigade monument here, all over the place. We've got the Iron Brigade hanging out, doing their thing, being like iron. This is the 24th Michigan that we just passed. Anyway, the anniversaries have been kind of disappointing as far as turnout goes. The visitors aren't as plentiful as they used to be. And I really think October, well, I know this because this is what the numbers are telling everybody, is that October has taken over as the busiest month of the year here in Gettysburg. And I get it. I mean, it's beautiful in October. The weather is perfect, typically. You don't have the humidity. You got the colors of the leaves, and everybody say, oh, look at the colors. And, so it's different. There's the seminary. Let me do a little zoom in on it so you can see it better. There's that iconic building. I mean, there must be other buildings in the country that look like that, but I haven't seen them, right? There's got to be. Can't be that's the only one of that design. They got a tent out front. Looks like they've got some activities planned. But also, last year I was working all the way through the anniversary days, so I didn't get to do anything because I was finishing up the anniversary episodes. At least this year I got them done like literally in the nick of time. Yesterday was my last day, and now I got to go back into the studio and I have to pull the audio from them and put them up on the audio only feed. I know we still get listens on the audio only feed, but we get far more on YouTube now, which is kind of another reason why I'm gravitating towards YouTube. But for people, is there anybody watching now who listens on like Apple Podcasts or Spotify or whatever, one of those apps where it's just audio? And the reason I ask is because I want to know how married you are to that. By the way, if you become a patron, even if you're a free patron, you can hear all of the audio only shows that we put up. And then if you ever one app, all in one app. But anyway, I wonder, because here's what I don't get is people say, well, I prefer to listen, I don't watch. But my question is, why haven't you figured out that you can listen and not watch on YouTube as well? Somebody told me the other day, well, YouTube is a pain in the ass to listen to because of the ads that they run. To which I said, well, then you should get the premium but I use YouTube a lot. So premium is worth it for me. It might not be for other people. So I'm just trying to figure out, because I would really love to just forego the audio only feeds. Because they just take up a little extra time for me, and the payoff over there isn't really good. There's no payoff over there. It's completely free. I get nothing from it. And so, but YouTube I do. So YouTube is worth working on The other ones aren't. But if you're not going to listen anymore because you won't go to YouTube, then I'm not going to do that. So I'll have to put a poll out and see. Sometime in the near future, I want to come down for... Oh, I read that one already. Going to be another hot day indeed, James. It is. It is. It is. Ghost count me in. That only comes small mountains. Go. Show you over there. Good morning from Somerville, Oregon. Hello, Rob. How are you? West Yinzer, good morning. Michael Patchett, good morning to you, sir. Lucy. Gene says the lady they showed that passed the LBG exam probably had an advantage being a retired Civil War history teacher. So well, first of all, she's very bright. She's the head of the Seminary Ridge Museum and Education Center now. I'm sure that helps to a degree, but I've talked to history professors, current, not retired, current history professors who failed it. I've talked to lawyers who failed it. You know, lawyers, they got to do a lot of research. They got to know the story. They have to remember facts, and they failed it. Because it's set up for you to fail. Let's put it that way. So the people that pass it are unique and they're good minds to have, for sure, as long as they can deal with people. Judy, I know Judy personally, and she's very personable and she's great. So I knew that she would get it because she's like perfect for the job. 6 Questions Lens. We all love 6 Questions Lens. I saw him give a tour down at Brandy Station, and you know, it's like he comes alive. So there are certain people who have that mind to pass the test and to be good with people. On the whole, people who can pass that test are usually not good with people. There's book people and there's people. And if you're a book person, you could pass that test with no problem, but you probably are not going to be a people person. The paper person's people. The paper person's paper people. That's what I was trying to say. Andy says I'll be trying to catch some of the programs, but we'll have to work. So sadly, I'll need to be listening. Also, high intensity interval training got me back into my wool pants. Cannot reconciles it enough. Was that talk to text? Ty Webb says, I was almost expecting them to stamp loser across the screen when they were taking, yes. It would have been funny. See, that's the thing, is like when I was, my interview, I was kind of like taking it with humor. Like I was kind of making fun of myself. I wasn't at all as serious or as dour about it as it appears from the quotes they pulled. Like I was kind of making fun of myself. It's like, yeah, there's no way I'm going to pass this because I didn't study. Like I'm just trying to see what I learned through osmosis. And they don't tell you about what to study, so I'm not going to waste my time on something that I have a 90% chance of failing. You know, I set a personal goal of 50%. If I get half of it right, I'll be good. I got 53%. So I was like, whoa, I'm an overachiever. No, I don't worry about that. The sad part wasn't the walk of shame. It was Casey telling his kid, like, oh, God, Dad's a loser. We're not going to make it. But don't worry, we'll get to Gettysburg someday. Oh, poor child, lost all respect for his dad. You know, like, oh, that was terrible. Why would they do that? I'll have to ask Casey what that was all about. What was funny is somebody watched it and they thought that I had something to do with the piece because it's like all people from the show, but it just worked out that way. I don't know how. But the weird thing is they only got one little glimpse of 6 questions. They didn't ask him anything, or at least they didn't put him in there if they did. Tyweb says, isn't that a Michael McDonald line as he tries to recreate what had yet to be created? Oh, you're referring to me before saying that I don't think that way and I try to create things. Yes. Trying hard to recreate what had yet to be created. Once in his life, he musters a smile for his nostalgic tale. Never coming near what he wanted to say. You've got to love a little Michael McDonald. Here we are on Barlow's Knoll, chanting Barlow's Knoll. I spared him last night on the show. Brian Hannon says, hell yeah, Matt. So cool seeing you on CBS Saturday. Oh, God, thank you, but no thank you. Let's just move past this one. Let's move past it. Wait until you see the documentary HBO is doing about me. Good luck next time. Thanks for all you do for our beloved Battlefield. You're very welcome. It's my pleasure. I love doing it. Dustin says, good morning, sir. Walking Arlington Cemetery as we speak. Very nice. I shall be quiet for you. Valerie Miller says, I listen on Apple and iHeart. I listen between doing stuff around the house. Okay. And Valerie, if we went to YouTube only, basically, and Patreon, would that be a bummer? Would you no longer be able to listen because you won't listen on YouTube? Are you of that school? Andy says, I usually use the audio feed through Patreon while at work, but I'll stream it through YouTube. Okay. Kevin says, I'm strictly a YouTube fan. All right, Kevin. Rob says, I've only watched and listened on YouTube. Okay. You see, I think society is just gravitating towards YouTube more. I've been seeing, either hearing other podcasters say it, or I've read a couple of articles that said that all the audio only feeds, like if there's a podcast that has an audio only, like say Spotify presence and a YouTube presence, YouTube kills the audio only platforms. And I noticed that when we started putting our shows on YouTube more, we started doing actual videos for YouTube, the numbers on the audio only side started to shrink, and the video, the YouTube side, started to grow. And so that kind of jives with what I'm hearing other people say. They've had the same experience. So I just think we like to be spoon-fed, and I think we're all hypnotized by visuals, by our stupid phones. And we prefer to look, we prefer to watch. And now with the smart TVs, you can watch YouTube on your television. And yeah, which terrifies me, because last night, as soon as the show came on, what looks good on my monitor does not look good on the TV, all blown up. And that I have to remedy. I have to figure out a way to watch it on TV without actually putting it up on YouTube ahead of time. I'll figure it out. Gene says, are the 5 and 10 year anniversary years busier? I've been down for the 140th, 150th, 160th, and traffic was nuts. Yeah, yes, they are, but the in-between years were always a spike too. from my memory. They're not as much of a spike, but they are a spike. Now, these anniversary days are in the middle of the week, so I would imagine that they're probably going to, that's just naturally going to put a damper on it. But even still. Yeah, an off year is quieter, but even at the 160th, I was kind of saddened to see the little turnout. I also think, and this is one of the things that we're trying to, we're in our laboratories with our lab coats trying to crack the code on what to do to just reach a wider audience and a different audience that isn't already interested in this stuff. How do we make this interesting to the average Joe? The average Joe can't stand history nerds or any kind of nerds. They usually beat up the nerds. So, but how do you make that dopey dullard that only likes to watch his football? How do you tell him, hey, this is better than football? If you like the violence of football, you'll love this. People get blown up. Like, how do you do that without coming off as sensational or disrespectful? Okay, GP Foster says, nope, for me, found you on YouTube, watch you on YouTube, ads don't bother me that much. Okay, Marie says, hey, Matt. Andy says, hi, Marie. Andy says, I think so, Gene. Matt, I could go full YouTube if they didn't play ads and in the middle of a sentence, usually at the worst time. Yeah, and they keep saying that they're improving natural break points, but they're full of it. Hanan Khan says, good afternoon from Islamabad. Hello, Hanan. Good to hear from you. How are you doing? James says, I listen on Apple Music. Whenever I'm driving, I have a podcast going, and you were part of my lineup. I'd listen on YouTube, but I'd have to be intentional about remembering to go there when I'm driving. See, I think a lot of people say that. I listen to your show when I'm driving, so I don't go on YouTube. But you don't have to watch on YouTube. Like, the audio is the same as the video. There's nothing different about the video. Sometimes we'll throw in visuals or something, but you can always go back if you really wanted and find it on YouTube and to look at the video. But I listen to shows on YouTube. I don't know. I just put YouTube on and I listen and I drive. And I don't look at YouTube. I just listen to it. Actually, when you have YouTube Premium, you can actually leave the YouTube app and it won't stop playing. So I just turn the screen off and it won't stop playing and everything's fine. South Battery Pfeiffer was down for the 160, pretty quiet. It was great being there, but we expected a bit more. I know, it's not the way it used to be. Milepost History and Hobbies. Matt, I listen on Patreon or YouTube only. I only go to Spotify for Civil War content that I can't get elsewhere. AG is 95% of the total content I listen to or watch. And that is 95% smart, my friend. Thank you very much. Marie says, sitting here listening to the drive while parked on Reynolds Ave. Hello, Marie. Sorry, I didn't see you when I was there. Melissa says, good morning. Good morning, Melissa. West Windsor says, you will ace the practical part of the exam. I'll never get to take the practical part of the exam, West Windsor. Yinzer. That's the point, is that there are, I won't say who it was, but a former Park Service employee and I were talking about this the other day, and he said it's really a terrible way to find people who are going to be good with the public, because people who can pass that test probably would be better as guides. People who can't pass that test would probably be better. How did he say it? The people who would be great guides probably wouldn't do well on that test, is what he said. And I agree. There's always exceptions to the rule. James says, when will 6Q finish the test? I think September is his oral. Cracker Golf says, in Gettysburg for the first time. Love it. Great. Welcome. Enjoy yourself. If you see me, say hi. Don't be shy. A lot of people don't want to bother me, but it bothers me when I hear that you saw me and didn't say hi. I love to meet people. The South Battery Pfeiffer says, I thought the examining other things was geared towards folks having a huge amount of physical access to the battlefield. I've been a public historian for 14 years, and I'm told by others. I'm not sure what you're saying there. I thought the examining other things was geared towards folks having a huge amount of physical access to the battlefield. I'm not. I thought that examining other things. If you could rephrase that, I would love to answer you. Hanan says, I just noticed there's a Brian Hannon in the chat. Hi, Brian. I'm named Hannon too. Well, one's Hannon, one's Hanan, but yes, same spelling. Melissa says, I just listened to Day One Invasion with Jim, Charlie, and Bob, one of my favorites, and going to listen to all day episodes. Great. Oh, yeah, a lot of the old anniversary shows still get a lot of traction. Yes, Hanan. Yes, it was. Joseph Denise says, good morning. Melissa says, you seem a little put off to me. Me? Melissa, what? No. No, you're very nice. Gettysburg. Sometimes, I don't know why, but like sometimes before I'm fully awake, my tone isn't always as I intend it to be. So if I sounded that way, I'm sorry. Gettysburg. Well, how'd you get that name? It says, hello there. Enjoy your battlefield trip. Today is definitely the perfect day to go. It is. Bethany Yingling says, good morning, everyone. It's battle anniversary. A great day to be out and about. Valerie Miller says, I like YouTube, hate the ads. I'm not familiar with Patreon. Well, Patreon, there's no YouTube. The only video over on Patreon is when we record a show. Our first lieutenants get to see it. Lately, I've been sharing it with other ones because I haven't, I've been working on these, the anniversary shows, and I just didn't have time to do anything else. So, okay, James Thompson's YouTube. Marie says, Bethany, Yoda, good morning. Good morning, Yoda. Alicia says, hello to Bethany, excited for the anniversary. Valerie says, does Patreon play? No, Patreon, the whole thing on Patreon is you're paying and you're making it so that we can continue to do Addressing Gettysburg. And so there's no commercials on Patreon. So when you watch a live stream that's on Patreon, and correct me if I'm wrong, folks, because I can go in and fix it, and it's usually just the flick of a button. But I turn the ads off on Patreon because you're paying for me. The whole thing with ads is you're getting it for free, so I have to make money for my work somehow. So that's why I monetize my YouTube channel. That's why we run ads on the free stuff, because I'm not Gandhi. Like, I work very hard and very long hours at this at the expense of many other things that a lot of people will not give up. And I got to make a couple of cents, and it's literally, that's what it adds up to on YouTube. You have to get so many views for $1 to be made. So, so Patreon, you see things before the freeloaders do, and you get them without ads because you're paying. It's like cable versus network. Just look at it like that. Patreon is HBO, and YouTube, Spotify, Apple, that's NBC, CBS, all that stuff. Gene says, I'm addicted to YouTube. I watch you there. Kevin says, shouldn't you be at work, Marie? Ty says, good morning, sweet Matt. Oh, sorry, Bethany. Marie says, get some coffee. Thank you, Marie. And washer fluid. I have washer fluid. It's that one thing. Yeah, it's just not doing it. I listen through YouTube and iHeart. Personally, I like iHeart better for the simple reason they don't have all the damn commercials. Yeah. Alicia says, Matt, it looked fine. You are such a stickler for perfection. I don't know. I just wanted it to look better. It was a little too blurry and a little too dark, and it was something that I should have caught all along and adjusted. I could have adjusted it in post, but I didn't, and I'm pissed myself. But also, here's the other thing. This is where I have to forgive myself. Nobody there, except me, when we were setting up, has ever set up a camera before. So it was very hard. I can't sit in the chair and focus while focusing. You know what I mean? Like, I can't be in two places at once. Now, I had Cindy sit in the chairs to get the focus, but then when we sit down and start the show, you got to double check that the focus is still good and we didn't move out of it or something like that. And, you know, with all due respect, nothing against Cindy, of course, she's helping, and, you know, but she doesn't have that experience. Now, July 2nd and 3rd are a little better because we had Dan. He was running the cameras. He was running back and forth, making sure the whole time that everything stayed good. There's one camera that we had kind of just set up on a tripod on a wide angle that was just way out of focus. I did use it a little bit, but that's because I had nowhere else to go. I had to cover a bad camera job on one of the cameras. Whatever. But anyway, maybe I am. Barbara says, I just used the cast icon to put the AG show on TV, just watching on. Okay, gotcha. Dogface, the 159 had a bigger turnout than the 160th. Yeah, I recall. I love history, and I'm a brawler, and I used to fight, and Ty Webb says, Barbara, I thought you said you used the cast iron. James Thompson said, why were you disappointed with a small turnout? You hate tourists. Oh, because I don't hate tourists. Okay, I was disappointed with a small turnout because I love Gettysburg and I want to see it thrive. I want to see the town thrive. I want to see the park thrive. I want more Americans to learn their history. When you don't know your history, you will give up everything you have very easily. Look at the New York mayoral race. But if you know your history, you know what's at stake, and you will guard your country a little better. And so I think it's important that everybody knows their history and they know what has been overcome through events like the Civil War. But many others. Like, you should just, well, I don't care what it is. I don't care if it's the Gettysburg. I don't care if it's Antietam or something completely different. As long as you're interested in some aspect of history, that's keeping that part of it alive. And with everybody working on their own respective interests to keep them alive, the whole tapestry will hold. But if we start falling apart, then, you know, we're toast. And I'm too old to be fighting in any kind of guerrilla wars or anything like that. That can't be. We can't go there. Why were you disappointed with it? Oh, yeah. Sounds like the non-nerdy folks need to get nerdy. They do, Andy. They do. Jeffrey says, thanks for the drive this morning. Have a great day to all. Just trying to get through these here. Jim says, first time watching. Thank you, Jim. Welcome. I hope you enjoy it. Then explore our channel, please. We have over 1,000 uploads. Hanan Khan says, Matt, I think you need to incorporate the use of AI for shorts. You'll grab a bigger audience through snap moments from pot. Yeah, if someone would teach me how, or just actually do it for me, that would be great. I don't have any more bandwidth or time in my life to take on a whole new thing like that. Katie Wolf says, I listen on YouTube while I'm driving and at home. Andy says, for us peasants who cannot afford the YouTube premium due to supporting AGM Patreon, I will argue with the ads on YouTube if need be. Well, you know, they're also, I think they're skippable most of the time, right? I always choose to have, oh no, they don't let you do that anymore. They used to let you choose skippable or non-skippable ads. Now they decide for you. I don't like that because I always chose skippable because I freaking hate them, but I also have to make a living. So I'm like, well, I'm only going to subject my audience to skippable ads, but they took that choice away. Faye says, I'm guessing some of the current guides couldn't pass the test. Well, some of them have told me that. Ghost says, I love seeing your mucho grande bald head. A mucho grande bald head. It's very bulbous like mine. Thank you, Ghost. Wes Yinzer said, I could probably pass the written test, but would crash my car if I tried to drive and talk with a carload full of tourists. That's actually pretty easy. Melissa says, no. I meant on Saturday morning when they talk to you after the test. Oh. Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, good. To me, it sounded like I was like heartbroken, but no, I was kind of pissed, but I wasn't pissed for my sake. I was pissed for everybody else's sake that like really was like dreaming about this. I mean, you gotta, I see a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff comes my way. People send me things. I see things when on the rare occasion I'll go on YouTube. I'll see what people say. And there are people who have wrapped their entire identity, their entire life and hopes and dreams around, in getting this guide license. And I don't have that dream. I had other dreams, and I'm getting to live them now because of you guys. And so I know how great that feels. And I also know how frustrating the yearning to achieve that dream is. And so I have a little empathy for these people. And that's also the other thing is like, I knew that like, if I passed, I would go as far as I could until I failed. But I knew that like, there were people out there that really, 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 really want to have this. Like, like 6 Questions, a very close friend of mine, moved all the way out from Colorado in 2018 or 2019 because he, like the rest of us, assumed that they would be given the exam that year. And then they kicked the can down the road for 7 years. And he made a life here. And it wasn't always easy for him, but it's in the pursuit of a dream. And I don't care what the hell the dream is. I have to respect that because I wasted so many years of my life doing that. So, I was kind of pissed because a lot of the people that I had complete faith in, who I thought were like totally going to pass this with flying colors, they were doubting themselves. And so I was a little pissed at that, but many of those people went on and passed anyway. So, and I'm glad for that. But yeah, I was a little more angry also because it's like, didn't they used to, like during the Jim Crow days, didn't they used to give tests in Chinese in order to get in order to exercise your right to vote? Like it kind of felt like that. I'm not saying it was that. I'm just saying it kind of felt like, I don't know. Whatever. It felt, I don't know what the word is. Am I able to limit the commercials? Yes, actually, Rob. And I do. So there's a box to click. Sometimes I forget. And if there is a video that has this, let me know. The default when you choose to monetize a video, the default is that it will interrupt throughout the show. If you click that off, it will only play them at the beginning and the end. And so that's what I choose. So when you turn it on and when it comes to an end, it plays an ad. I hated interruptions when I didn't pay for premium. And I don't want to do that to you guys, even though YouTube is like, are you sure you want to do this? You'll make more money. I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to make more money because I'm going to lose viewers. So, because again, I think it's an age thing. Older people seem to be less tolerant of that. Younger people, I never hear them complain about the ads. And so my audience skews older, so I'm trying to cater to the audience. Now there are some where you can also go in and I can control, like if let's say I didn't unclick that box and they were going to interrupt all throughout, I could go in and it shows me where it will place the ads and I can go in and delete them. So if I'm having a particularly low month, like last month, let's say, for example, I might go in and I might say, okay, well, let's do this, but we're not going to do 18 breaks. And I'm not even exaggerating. Like, it's that ridiculous. And some of them have a minute and a half between them. It's disgusting. It's stupid. It's annoying. It's disrespectful. So I'll go in there and I will, if there's 18 of them, I'll delete 14 of them. And I'll just make 4 breaks, and I'll spread them out a good deal. It's business. I got to make money, and I apologize if it bugs you, but, there's a way to counter that, and that's to become a patron or put us in your will at the Digital History Pioneers, or just make a large donation to that, and we don't have to do ads. That's the problem. If we can get full funding for things, we don't have to do ads. Marie says, Kevin, I took the week off. South Battery Pfeiffer says, phone typing with the big thumbs. I meant to say that the exam was tougher for people who didn't have a huge amount. Oh, gotcha. Yeah, that's the theory. But I know somebody who passed and is moving along and lives on the West Coast. So I think on the whole, that is correct, that you need to come here and you need to have an intimate knowledge of the battlefield. You need to make love to the ground. But I don't think that's 100% across the board. I think there are people that can do it. And actually, this test, at least the written, there was very little on that stuff. There was more about other battlefields and other battles and political things. And, there was very little on the battle, it seemed. Like, I'm sure they said, no, it was equally broken up into 5ths or 6ths or 8ths or whatever the hell it was. Or 8 sections or whatever. I don't forget how many sections there were. And each one got equal amount. That may be, but this is a test to be a licensed Gettysburg battlefield guide, not a licensed Civil War professor. Greg Alderton said, enjoying this from Canada. Happy Canada Day. Happy Canada Day to you as well, Greg. Thank you. Always like to hear from our international listeners. Gene says, I wish I was there this year for the battle anniversary, but Gettysburg in July is too hot for me. Yeah, it's 78 degrees, and it's not even 10 o'clock. The sun is not out fully. There's not a heavy cloud cover, but there's enough to spare us. Yeah, Grant does AI very well, and I keep asking him to do that for me, but he doesn't. Well, he does, but it's to mock me. Did you bring Chad with you, Marie? Okay, they're having a private conversation. Moving along, I'm starving. YouTube, same as Katie Wolf. She's Mrs. Oh, very nice. Okay. Well, that's nice to see both of you in here. Are you in Gettysburg, Ghost? Kevin, yes, he is my navigator. Greg, listening from Ontario, Canada. 55,000 Canadians served both North and South during the Civil War. Happy Canada Day. Yeah, we want to do a show. Greg, were you the one that contacted me years ago about doing a show about Canadians at Gettysburg? Somebody who did, and I forgot what happened. That fizzled out. We never did that, but I would love to do that. Gene said at Manassas, 150th, the temp was 108. I remember that. Oh no, I wasn't at the 150th. It was at the 140th. That was also hot. I haven't been able to take the heat since. Great, you guys can enjoy pecan pie, gentlemen. Happy Canada Day. Okay, poll taxes or bias testing for the. Yeah. That it's kind of like that, Andy. Damn it, Kevin. Now I want something else. I plan on enjoying some Mr. Jesus this trip. Blah, 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 blah. Okay. What is it? Thank you, Wes Jinzer, for the super chat. Babber says that before and after ads do not work that way on AG Today show. I'm pretty sure. At one point, I was getting ads every 6 minutes. Yeah. Does that happen all the time? Because I think that just might have been that one time I didn't click that setting. I don't recall discussing our moms before, Marie. Mine was from Winnipeg. Jean says my daughter is in. Okay, Canadian. Okay, blah blah blah. This is Jeffrey Dahmer. What are your thoughts on Jeffrey Dahmer? He seemed like a real jerk. He was just misunderstood. That's funny. That was funny there. Who said that? That was Jim H. That was funny. Ty says, there's a ratio of content to commercials that is the Goldilocks zone. Too many stops. I don't care if they're skippable or short. I'm out. Yeah. I don't, right, exactly. You get into something, you're really interested, and then you hear some stupid ad with some whimsical song with like ukulele and xylophone, or some woman go, toot, toot, doo, doo. It's just, ugh. Stop with the schmaltzy, hippie, happy, feel-good crap, Karen. Sometimes it is Marie, but oh God. Reed, good morning. Great week and holiday thing to you as well. Thank you, sir. West Ginzer, thanks for the view of Gettysburg, July 1st from Phoenix, Arizona. Will be 112 here today. Wow. Dumbers, okay. The Pfeiffer word might be disingenuous. Oh, that could be a good word for that. Yeah. It just felt like trickery, I guess. And I'm not the only, I'm, by the way, aggregating the things that I've heard, even from people who passed. When I say this stuff, I have, of course, my own opinions are in there, but these are the ones that line up with what everybody else is saying that I'm sharing with you. So I'm speaking not only for myself when I say these things about the exam. Joseph Denise, Canada. Will you be out and about later on the field? Yes, James. I'm going to have breakfast real quick, and I'm going to then go to the office where I have to put the audio versions of last night's show up. I forgot to do that. And then I will be milling about. Maybe I'll see if I can catch some battle walks or something. So yeah, if you're out and you see me, say hi. The last show, they were putting the ad over the chat, but at least it didn't interrupt the conversation. Yeah, so, okay, that's another thing. Barbara's the only person that's told me about this, and I never saw this before I got premium. They're putting ads over chats? Like, does anybody else have that problem, and can you explain it to me? What are you talking? Are we talking like pop-up ads? Like, what the dilly? What the dilly? Joseph, let's see. Yeah, we're 112 dry here. Blah, blah. Have a great day on the battlefields today. Just keep an eye on the weather as some nasty storms may come through. I'm not afraid of storms, Joseph. I love a good storm in the summertime. I remember one time at the Jersey Shore, we were down. It was like, dinner time, but we rented a house on the beach, and we were down by the surf while Mom and Grandma were making dinner, and this thunderstorm came in and just drenched us. From walking to the surf, from the surf to the house, we were completely soaked all the way through, and I loved it. I thought it was the greatest thing in the world. All the old timers and the little kids were like, "Oh, let's get inside before we get struck by lightning." I just wanted to stand there, but they're like, "Come on, get inside." So I went inside. I love a good storm. Gene also saw the ad. Can you do me a favor and take a screenshot when you see it next so that I know what you're talking about? There's nothing I can do about that because there's no option that I'm aware of regarding ads in the chat. That I have never seen or heard of. So just if you do me a favor and just take a screenshot of it, and I'll see if there is anything I can do about it. Glad you're going to enjoy the anniversary this time, Matt. Me too, Kevin. Me too. Okay, Marie's seen them too. All right, so it is a thing. It is a thing. Okay. I will, not that I doubted you, Barbara. I needed more information. Andy says, Matt, hoping you have a great anniversary. Someday I want to have an IPA with you. Well, I'll have something else. But anytime you're here, let me know. You should have let me know last week or whenever that was you were here. I still need to send you the lightning show from last year when we slept on the battlefield. Yeah, I'd love to see it. Oh, we had a really good thunderstorm last night. We're on top of the mountain, and we have these skylights in the living room, and it was putting on quite a show. Very cool. I love being up that close to the storm. It was like a half screen thing. Okay, and does it have a little X? Like that you can X out of it, or how does it go away? Or does it go away after a couple of seconds? Joe Denise says, yep, I noticed the ads last night while working and watching the video. Really? Okay. Oh, now wait, so does it do that and interrupt? No, because I turned that off, so it shouldn't interrupt. It didn't interrupt you with ads, did it? Oh, that might be, oh, that's tricky. That might be what they do when I turn they call it mid-break roll. It's not a mid-break, it's like a break every 5 seconds. But that might be what they do when I turn that off. They might put the ads in the chat. Oh, they're sneaky. All right, guys, I gotta go. I will talk to you later. You have a great day. Again, if you're here, you're out and about, and you see me, don't think you're bothering me. Say hi. I'd love to meet you. And that's it. Have a great day.